Hello and welcome to Let's Talk Diz, a show that gives you everything you need to know to help make your Disney vacation as magical as can be in just about 20 minutes. I'm your host, Jeff Coviello. With me each week is Disney Master Sandy from Easy Diz by Instant Impressions Travel Services. Sandy, how you doing this week?
I am doing great, and I am so excited about our unique show tonight.
Well, it is unique, right? Because you deal so much with Disney. Obviously, I'm somebody that's spent a significant amount of time in my life there, and everybody always just dreams of working for Disney, right? You hear this constantly. A lot of students that I've had that have gone on to work in the college program or have always wanted to work there. I've fantasized about it for years, right? So tonight, it's kind of all about, working at Disney, the dream jobs, and then some of the people that we all know how they began their careers with the Disney company.
And full disclosure, there's always people that think I work for Disney.
Yes.
As travel specialists, we are not cast members. We are not employed by Disney in any way. It was something I had thought about at one time, probably a dream that I've given up because of my role. But interestingly enough, I have friends, fellow agency owners that go on to retire in Florida and take roles. One of my friends right now is a fairy godmother at Bippity Boppity Boutique.
Nice.
As you said, it's a dream job. And maybe I'll start, if you'll indulge me for a minute, with a dream story that I think I've shared before. But my daughter has given up her dream Disney job, and it was to be the blue bird in Festival of the Lion King.
That's a tough job.
At the early age of about 12.
Yeah.
When she, unbeknownst to me, bad mother that I am, she was searching online under Disney careers how to become the bird.
Sure.
And her dream was literally shattered as at age 12, she was now officially too tall to be the bird. And so we reference that often, still almost 20 years later when we talk about dreams and successes and how do you define it, and even in one of her yearbooks where you write messages to your daughter, I wrote, you'll always fly high like the bird to me. So
that
Disney
pesky height requirement
just span everything you could ever imagine. And we've done some great cast interviews in the past and focused on some unique roles. I will share a mind-blowing statistic to me. Walt Disney World is the largest single-site employer in the United States.
Wow.
So just take that real slow for a minute. Walt Disney World employs more people in one location than anybody else anywhere in the United States.
Very large location, though, to be fair.
That single site, that Orlando, they all technically go to that same corporate headquarters. Now, they're number 21 in the country for employees in the U.S., and it'll not shock you if I tell you that they're nowhere near number 1, 2, and 3. Walmart, Amazon, and the federal government are actually the 3 largest employers in the United States. But they are spread out over multiple locations. So Walt Disney World has more people working for them in any one spot than anybody else. And that to me is just mind-boggling when you think about 75,000 people, many of which are rotating through things like the Disney College program, the international program. When you think about how many people have to have worked for Disney in the last 50 years, it's an amazing number.
Well, and the way that you get that job over the last 50 years has certainly changed in a tremendous way, right? There's no paper applications that are being filed right now to get to it. So it's a little bit more of a streamlined process now than it was when the doors opened in the 70s.
That is true, but you would be surprised which things are still done by paper, because sometimes you still need that.
So what do you got? Give us a little bit of information as to how you would start a career with Disney.
So a career itself, DisneyCareers.com, that'll give you all of the different roles that they currently have open. And again, shocking number, if you all want to take a second and guess how many different job titles there are in Orlando, I would not have been correct in my guess.
No.
There are over 3,000 different roles.
It's a lot.
Because think about what's there. You've got everything from entertainment and attractions. So you've got the person that is, greeting you at the ride and greeting you at the gate and performing on stage and streetmosphere, to transportation, whether that means that they're a monorail driver, a bus driver, and all of those spots have all those extra people that rotate from driving to crowd control in those spots.
Right.
All of the costumers and makeup artists, all the operations people, everything from facility operations, health and safety. Of course, Disney has their own security officers, their own fire department, technology, people that aren't really in the park. They're in office backstage or just a few miles away, in quality control, in design, in creating everything from every sign that says ladies' room or men's room,
right,
to big signs for the park, to actually designing them. But then there's other sets of Imagineers that are carrying out creating them. Then you've got, obviously, your construction people. We know they're in the process right now of building attractions, building a new hotel. And then within all of those things, you've got your culinary team, your front desk team, your housekeeping teams. It is just endless, the number of different roles. And there is something for everyone. One of the things that I love with Disney and the 3,000 roles that they offer is they encourage you to keep learning and keep trying and to find a new fit. It is unusual to meet somebody who's going to say to you, oh, I've been an attractions host for 25 years right here in the Magic Kingdom.
Right.
Most people move around. You can change roles every 6 months. So they want you to come in, learn it, and then stay or expand. It might be a lateral move just to try something new, but every 6 months you can move around.
Well, and if you remember, we did a show a while ago at this point, not years, but months ago at this point, where we talked about the footprint of the Disney company, right? And that to me is very similar to what you're describing here, right? That there are so many different things inside just Walt Disney World alone. There's a very big difference between the person that is a sous chef and the person that is, a cosmetologist. Like they're not doing anywhere near the same job, but they are both vital to making the guest experience as magical as it needs to be. So
and how about your favorite, Jeff? The person that's designing the Run Disney course and the Run Disney medals and planning out those weekends.
Sure. It's all huge, right? You look at the wide world of sports complex, the whole, everything that goes on over there. Sometimes you don't even think about that, right? You doesn't even cross your mind if you're not somebody that's been over there. So,
and
tremendous
again,
amount.
Add in lifeguards and people that are at water parks and pools and mini golf. You really have endless opportunities. But the interesting thing is, no matter which of those roles you start at, whether it is the most entry-level role, and maybe you're even there on a one-semester college program, this isn't your true career calling, or you're coming to them as, a top business person, you're coming from another company into an executive position, you all start in the same place. And that is in a class called Traditions. And that class, again, it's, everybody who's starting on Tuesday, July 1st. It's going to be a mix of people in different roles, of different ages, coming from all different parts of the world. It used to be a multi-day class. They've gone down. It's typically about an 8-hour course now.
Okay.
And it starts with traditions. What is Disney built on? What are the things that, whether you were there opening day to now what kinds of traditions, things like the two-finger point, answering questions in a way that makes guests feel good. Things like the one example that I hear over and over when people tell me about traditions is the number of people that honestly will say in the Magic Kingdom, can you tell me what time the 3 o'clock parade starts? And let's be honest, we all hear that and want to say to them, say it again and listen to yourself. You just told me what time the parade starts. What are you asking me?
Yeah.
But it's about learning to say to the guest, the parade will step off at 3 p.m. near Tiana's Bayou.
Yeah.
It'll make its way down to the hub. It'll pass the circle, come all the way down Main Street, get right in front of the train station about 3:20 or 3:25 for its last steps until it heads backstage again.
Right. So
It's about
traditions will make
learning.
that happen for us.
Right. What is on stage and backstage? Remember, they talk about a role because when you're in Disney, it's not a job and you're not going to work. You are on stage for the guests. The entire guest experience is considered a show. So when you get ready for work, you are show ready. That talks about your costume, your appearance. Again, it's not what's my uniform, what's my costume? And learning all of that unique technology. And then the other half of the program is what they call bringing magic to life. How do you get to be part of the phrase that they use often, the magic begins with me?
Mm-hmm.
What can you do? And I talk to my team about that phrase, and I will sometimes talk to clients about that phrase. We all have an opportunity to be part of the Disney magic. If you've ever bought a balloon, maybe you've bought one of those strollers and you don't want to take it home, you can be part of the magic by just going into the lobby and giving those things away. You make somebody's day and they remember that. So that whole concept of everything that we know and love about Disney breathes how to make magic from cast members to visitors. So many opportunities to be part of those 3,000 different roles, including one of the unique ones that I dealt with pretty frequently is their Disney Imagination Campus. Those are school programs where students can go and learn from mostly retired educators. Sometimes there's educators that are there just for the summer. We had the opportunity to meet with a great former high school band director who now works in Disney Music and shares with students what is it like to actually work for Disney in the music department? How long do you have to look at your music and practice and then be live on stage? It was a real wake-up call to students when he said, how many hours do you sit in the band room for how many months before your holiday concert?
Right.
And then he said, great, we'll give you 2 days and now you're on stage.
Very different.
Great opportunities to be in Disney. And you could be joining a legacy cast of so many amazing people before you.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because we do have a little section of today's program where we're going to run down some really famous people that began, or not necessarily began their career, but at some point had an early stop in their career working for the Disney company, whatever iteration it was at that time, right? And we're going to take it by different experience. Let's start off with Disney Cruise Line, which obviously as you hear Disney Cruise Line, if you've listened to any of our shows, you know that Sandy, you are such a huge fan of the shows that go on there. It lends itself very, very directly to some performing talent.
It does. But I also, before I jump into that, I want to challenge all of you because as I did a little bit of research for this show, it kind of made me want to dig back in some of my old photos. So dig back.
Yeah, good idea.
See if you find some of these people. I was trying to kind of look through the eyes of Tigger in one of my pictures to see whether I've had some of the famous people we discussed.
Sure.
And if you've had an opportunity to meet some of these people in their role, we'd love for you to share a photo with us.
That's a great idea. Love
But
it.
starting with Disney Cruise Line, their most famous former cast member is the ever amazing Jennifer Hudson. Was a regular performer. She fit right in with your cruise show. She might have been singing about the pirates to you. Obviously, Disney Cruise Line is also a great spot if you've been to Broadway, and Jeff and I are both near New York. So I catch it all the time when I go to Broadway theater and you're reading the playbill before it starts. You will see that many of the people on stage got their start on Disney. And so we have Ray Letterman and Ryan Knowles, who both performed on the Disney Fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
And have had roles like Jafar and in Broadway, as well as the Broadway tour of Seussical. So lots of great entertainment options, because if you've sailed with Disney, you can certainly picture how incredible that team is that entertains us at all times.
Well, as also some, one of my friends growing up, she had a job on Cruise Line too, and like just the versatility of the performer has to be bar none, right? So you have to be able to just do as many things as possible for a lot of these people. So it really, as a performer, it really it sharpens your tool, so to speak.
It is, and I will say we can go from the Disney Cruise Line to the Jungle Cruise, where we view the backside of water.
Love it.
Same skill set.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, most of us can recite a handful of those great corny jokes.
Uh-huh.
But now I want to give you this visual. Skippers in Disneyland on the Jungle Cruise, former skippers, include Pixar's founder, John Lasseter.
Right.
And the ever incredible Kevin Costner. So somebody out there, many somebodies, have to have pictures of them as a skipper. Start digging.
Sure.
Find them for us. And while you're looking through your Disneyland pictures, check out your Alice pictures, Alice in Wonderland. You might have gotten the opportunity to be with Michelle Pfeiffer.
Oh, I could see that totally as Alice.
General entertainment, Regis Philbin was at Disneyland along with Nick Cannon. They were both part of the entertainment team.
Interesting.
Richard Carpenter from the ever famous Carpenters. You could find him Barbershop Quartet on Main Street.
Very cool.
And we know a very brief career to the well-missed, incredibly talented Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Little bit of streetmosphere with the guests. We can all see that.
Yes. Can you imagine, though, just walking down the street and Robin Williams, before he's Robin Williams, just taking up so much of your time? Like at a certain point, you must be annoyed.
Somebody has that memory.
Yeah.
It was like, Mom, that guy this morning. You and I have talked, Jeff, about the memories that our kids have, and they're not the memories that we think they're going to pull out.
Sure.
I can only imagine Robin Williams, or I love this one. In Disneyland, as you're headed up Main Street, there is a magic shop. Steve Martin spent time working in the magic shop.
Sure.
I'm visualizing him trying to sell you what was probably at the time that $3 little, trick handkerchief.
Yeah.
With that laugh that he has.
That's so funny.
You have to love it. But some of them all had jobs. Disney always talks about every role is a starring role. And if all of those 3,000 plus roles don't exist, the park doesn't function.
Correct.
So Taboo from the Black Eyed Peas spent time on the janitorial team at Disneyland.
Which, to be fair, everybody that has ever been to Disney, any Disney property, the janitorial, the custodial staff at these places, just out of control talented. I mean,
they get the crummy jobs, but the amazing things. I love all of the time that they are now spending to become water artists.
Yeah.
With their mop and drawing characters. I mean,
yeah, it's cool.
You've heard me talk about that, they all have more talent in their pinky than I have in my whole body. I can't draw things for anything, but Amazing, amazing. And again, every person is part of that crew.
Well, let's go to a little bit of a different angle too. Still sticking with their performers, right? We're not going to necessarily go back to the beginnings of this, but the Mickey Mouse Club.
And that Furnicello and Cubby.
Yeah, we're not going to necessarily go back all the way to Annette,
Oh.
but the Mickey Mouse Club, especially when they rebooted it, I guess at this point 30 something years ago, maybe more. They definitely launched a lot of the major pop stars and celebrities that we had in the 90s and early 2000s.
It is amazing. I know you said I'm not going back to Annette and Cubby, but I'm going to for I mean, that show, you think about it and it's like, wow, this little kids TV show. But to bring us a little bit more current, the reboot of it.
Right.
Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, Justin Timberlake, Ryan Gosling. I mean, talk about star-studded. And let's be clear, they were not stars when they were on the Mickey Mouse Club.
No.
That is how most of them were found. They did this audition to be cute little kids on this great show that Disney had.
Yeah, Timberlake walked off a Star Search and onto the Mickey Mouse Club stage. Like that was literally his trajectory.
I mean, amazing, amazing history that all of these people who can attribute I don't want to say their success because they're all incredibly talented and they deserve to own their success.
No, but their roots.
But there's millions of talented people in this country who never get the chance to shine. And so sometimes it is putting yourself out there and being at the right place at the right time. And Disney is certainly that place.
So let's close out with Walt Disney World, though, because we've got a couple that were in Walt Disney World that are worth mentioning that, like you definitely said, we should go back and look at some pictures.
And one of them is one of my favorite roles when you hear about this.
Yeah.
But Kevin Richardson from the Backstreet Boys, he worked at the now defunct in so many ways, the MGM Studios Backlot Tour. So we no longer have MGM. We no longer have a backlot tour. But we still have Backstreet Boys.
Yes, we certainly do.
And then my favorite, because I can so picture him in my head doing this, the incredibly talented person who brings a smile to your face all the time, Wayne Brady. If you had to pick a Disney character for him, your Disney character friends, I should say, depending on who's listening.
Right.
It's all about your height. It's not always about your personality, though you do, as part of your interview process, you do have to pantomime. And Wayne Brady and Tigger are just such a natural marriage that it makes you smile.
Well, and somebody that's got such roots in improv, right? Like it's just the character acting makes so much sense for Wayne Brady.
Just amazing where you can go when you start with that little red tag that says earning your ears. Maybe you spend 30 years all around property and then retire an incredibly valued cast member. Again, we did an episode just a couple of weeks ago. This came about when we were talking about name tags and how you could earn that legacy award. But some people, this is a true stepping stone. Or as I said earlier, there is an opportunity through the majority of colleges in America to spend a semester in Walt Disney World. You do take some business classes while you're there and get an opportunity to work. I won't say in the parks because some of it is parks, some of it is in resorts and water parks and mini golf and other places. But there's an opportunity for everybody who wants to be able to say they were part of the Disney magic.
Well, I do thank you for taking the time tonight to talk about how somebody could take their shot, so to speak. And it was fun going down the list of the people that spent some time there. And I hope you have a great week.
You as well.
And that's a wrap this week on Let's Talk Diz. If anyone you know could benefit from this or any show, please share, have them like, and subscribe. And don't forget to reach out to the folks at Easy Diz by Instant Impressions Travel Services for any Disney destination planning. Make it a great week. And as always, keep making memories.